Uh, my name is Mark McLean. I live at 33 Pierce Street, lifelong resident of New Rochelle. Uh, it's been alluded to by the candidates, the tension that exists in the community with the Latino and African American youth. I would like to ask of the candidates, what is their vision? What do they see as a problem, and what are they doing, or what will they do to alleviate these tensions? Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start with Mr. Lopez, but I need to advise you all, last segment only had time for 5 questions. This is only a 20-minute segment, so maybe you want to talk amongst yourself and decide what you want to do. Mr. Lopez, please.
Well, according to, I was very involved. I don't know if you remember, probably about 10 years ago in the city of New Rochelle, we have the problem in the West End. And I was one of the persons that spearheaded a community meeting in the West End Club to talk to the Latino, Black, and Italian community at that time that were having problems in there. And I was essential in those workshops to get them together, and we solved the problems at that particular time. And now I think I can do the same. Working with the Youth Bureau, the police, and the city, we can tackle this in a manner that will be beneficial for the whole community, not only for one given district.
Thank you, Mr. St. Paul.
Yeah. You know, my opponent has said that he worked with youth 10 years ago. I guess he didn't realize that this was a growing problem through the years he's been a city council person. But I've recognized it as such. And just last week, I held a meeting with civic and religious leaders to talk about what we can do to bring our Latino and African communities together. We're going to have future discussions even past the election, and we're going to come up with a plan and work with the city and the school board to address these issues. When I was in the legal redress for the NAACP, I worked with our youth council. We did a Know Your Rights seminar in which I brought somebody down from the district attorney's office, and we talked about knowing your rights. It's important that we educate and invest in our youth. We can't just sit around and every 10 years get together and think that everything's solved. There's a new generation coming through with new issues, and we must constantly work with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
Good evening. May I?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Feast Rothweiler. I live on 36 Weeks Place, and this question is for Councilman Lopez, but I'd like both to answer. Councilman Lopez, even though I do not live in your district, I feel that our city council should work as a whole. How do you feel about community involvement about solving crimes?
Well, I think it's an excellent idea. We've been getting together with our businesses and members of the community to tackle this issue. The police been involved with the Union Avenue corridor, West Main. They walk in, they ride bicycles, they meet the community. We call people all over the city to try to tackle this violence that is happening in our city. This is not new to New Rochelle. This has been going on for a long time. My opponent is talking about meetings with the NAACP, where he had been in the last 4 years prior to this campaign. And I really assure you that we're working very hard to try to address these issues throughout the community.
Again, my opponent talks about, we're working hard. What has he done in the past 4 years as a result? I mean, 4 years is a long time to work towards something. Where are the fruits of the labor? You know, my opponent on the radio show, WVOX, the Frank Pasquale show, had talked about how he turned down $10,000 because it was going to the police for reward for a person who was killed in District 4. How do you turn down $10,000 just because it was going to the police to find a reward? He said, and I quote, "If it was going to me or to the widow, I would have taken the $10,000." You can't say that you want to be involved in community and work with the community to solve crimes and reject an offer from the community to help solve an issue. That's not working towards progress, and that's not working for the community. We need more community policing. We need more officers who speak Latino language, because we have a growing population in District 4. And we need to also think about, we need to disseminate information in Spanish and English into our Latino community. We need to form a trust and a bond among all our communities in District 4, and we need somebody to bring everybody together.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Vince Malfitano. I live at 9 Fairview Place. No citizen like myself can know all of the issues, and I guess why I'm here this evening and why I've asked questions is I want to try to get a sense of trust and as to who the candidates are. One of the concerns that was raised during the campaign, I believe Mr. Lopez spoke about this on WVOX the other day, about the issue of Mr. St. Paul's residence. And Mr. Lopez raised the question about his residence. And I was concerned about the fact that I understand Mr. Lopez had someone from his campaign hired a private investigator to investigate his background in terms of that. My understanding of the state law is that all you have to do is be living in the district at the time of the election. And I would like to direct this question to Mr. Lopez. Can you please tell me, why should I not be concerned as a citizen if a gentleman steps forward to run for office and follows the rules, that someone who sits on my government is going to hire someone to investigate him, kind of like the Gestapo?
First of all, I didn't hire her or hire the investigator. A member of the committee decided to do so, so they're free to do that without my consent. Second, in regard of the $10,000 reward for the person that was killed in my district, the police had the money. They did it directly with the police department. I cannot accept any money as a council member because it's bribery, and I'm not supposed to do that. Simple as that. That's $10,000. You can go to the police commissioner and ask him about that. And in regard of the residency of my opponent, the only reason that I bring this up, it is an issue, because he always saying that he's disconnected with the community. Of course you are disconnected from the community. You don't live here. And that is the issue that I'm going to raise, that he doesn't live in the community, so how he can be informed of all the issues that are happening in my community. I've been a resident for 25 years, and I get everything firsthand. I have my business, and it's open doors for everyone that want to go and inquire within my business, whether I'm in council or not.
Mr. St. Paul, do you want to address this?
Sure. You know, my opponent talks about the buck stops here. I don't know if you know that. But if somebody in your campaign hires an investigator and you don't have any control, you have to take responsibility. And instead of hiring an investigator, you need to hire an investigator to find out why our taxes are so high, or why we're suffering from quality of life issues, or why our youth, Latino and African American youth, are fighting. That's what you need to investigate, if anything. But unfortunately, you have not chose to do that. I'm a resident here. I've been involved here. As a matter of fact, you and I sat down several years ago during a redistricting lawsuit in which I was one of the attorneys. You can't deny that. So I've been here in this community, and I'm looking to make this a better community.
Thank you.
Thank you.